Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'd like to welcome you all to the Thursday, June 5th special meeting and public work session of the Portsmouth City School Board. I now call this meeting to order. As you please stand now for a brief moment of silence. Thank you. If y'all would say the pledge with me. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. The mission statement of the Portsmouth Public School Division is to engage all students in learning that will foster academic excellence and responsible citizenship. Agenda item 2.5 is attendance. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Miss Atkinson?
Here.
Mrs. Boone?
Here.
Dr. Cotton? Miss Futrell?
Here.
Miss McSwain?
Present.
Mrs. Sessoms?
Here.
Miss Shoemake?
Here.
Dr. Walker?
Here.
Dr. Patillo?
Here.
Everyone. What do you say?
8 members present.
8 members present.
Thank you so much. Agenda item 2.6 is approval of the agenda for June 5th, 2025. I entertain a motion at this time.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Boone, second by Ms. Futrell. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Miss Atkinson?
Yes.
Miss Boone?
Yes.
Miss Futrell?
Yes.
Miss McSwain?
Yes.
Mrs. Sessoms?
Yes.
Miss Shoemake?
Yes.
Dr. Walker?
Yes.
Dr. Patillo?
Yes.
Votes unanimous.
Thank you so much. Just looking at the agenda, I'm going to ask if I can have do I need a motion to change the closed session to after?
No, you can call it any order you want.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move down past our closed session to agenda item 4.1. We have staff here. Agenda item 4.1, the annual Title I, Title II, and Title III, and Title IV grant application. I believe that's Tails. None of you folks keep the staff here while we're in closed session.
I brought my whole department today.
Good evening, Chairman Patillo, Vice Chair Atkinson, board members, and all others assembled. I bring you greetings on behalf of the Office of Federal Programs in Pre-K. And as you can see, I have my team with me. So this evening we are here to present the ESEA federal grant applications for the 2025-2027 school year. This evening, we will be presenting 5 applications: Title I Part A, Title I Part D, Title II Part A, Title III Part A, and Title IV Part A. While I am here presenting these applications, these applications are done with the collaborations of various departments across the division, to include curriculum and instruction, HR, student support services. So we are going to share that each of these grants are used to supplement, not supplant, a non-federal funds that would otherwise be available. Each grant cycle is for 27 months. The grant cycle runs from July 1st, 2025 through September the 30th, 2027. Here I have listed the allocations that we received this year, with the allocations projected for the 25-27 grant cycle. These allocations are subject to change. We only have preliminary allocations so far, and so based on the final allocations that will come out probably the late summer maybe August, September, these allocations may be subject to change. As stated before, these allocations are done with a collaboration from various departments across the division. So I'll start with Title I, Part A, and it's for improving the academic achievement of our disadvantaged students. Right now, we get $6.99 million, and of course, this is preliminary. We use this Title I funds for instructional supplies as well as technology resources, professional development, tutoring and stipends, family and community engagement support and resources, human resources, which are our people, our instructional support personnel that's on the school level as well as division level, and we provide transportation and resources for our McKinney-Vento students, as well as this year, adding equitable services for our private schools. So what's new? In the past, Portsmouth Public Schools has been a part of 14 other school divisions that were a part of bypass, which means that private schools students were supported through a third-party vendor. This year that has changed, and so now Title I Part A funds will be used now to support eligible private school students that reside within Title I attendance areas, which what that means is that the money follows the backpack, those eligible students. Right now there are 6 participating schools, 3 schools in Portsmouth, 1 in Norfolk, 3 schools within our school division, 3 in Norfolk and 1 in Virginia Beach. These students reside in our Title I attendance zone, but they attend a private school. And the services will only be provided to the students and the teachers of that students, and we have decided within the division to use a third-party vendor which formerly serviced those students previously before we came out of bypass. So our division focus for Title I Part A, we support, there are measurable objectives to support language arts and math. We support the VTSS framework. We support family and community engagement and teacher quality. Title I Part D, that is about $188,000, and that goes to Harbor Point Behavioral Health Care. They're planning to use the resources, the funds for a board-certified behavior analyst, instructional resources, technology resources, online subscriptions, and professional development. As required by BDOE, we are required to ensure that the students that reside at Harbor Point are offered the same resources as the students on the school level. Title II Part A funds, preparing, training, and recruiting high-quality teachers and principals. Of course, you can see here the division allocation a little over $800,000. What we do with those funds, we fund division-level program specialists. We support teacher quality with mentoring and coaching. We offer relocation assistance and sign-in bonuses, as well as we have to provide equitable services for our private schools. And then there's a mentoring coaching, and we pay for professional development and mentor liaison stipends. For Title III Part A, we have Ms. Hatfield with us this evening. She is the coordinator for the English language, this particular grant, and we usually get about a little over $21,000 for that. We are using Title III Part A funds for Imagining Learning, which is the language and literacy for our English language learners. For Title IV, this is our Student Support and Academic Enrichment Program. The division allocation is a little over $541,000. We use these funds to support well-rounded education with a school counselor, safe and healthy students. This is our family and community engagement specialist for the division is funded. out of this, as well as 3 behavior interventionists. We have professional development for staff under the effective use of technology. And then there's the equitable services set aside for private schools. Some key points that we need to share. All grant-funded salaries and position are contingent upon the finalized pay scale and may be subject to change or elimination as determined in collaboration with our chief academic officers, HR, and finance. All applications are due to VDOE on or before July the 1st. And per VDOE, we had 2 federal program monitorings this spring. Per VDOE, only Title I now may be the only approvable application upon submission. All other applications, Title II Part A, Title III Part A, and Title IV, may be on hold with no timeline for approval. Our final allocations are pending, and all allocations are level funded using last year's amount. Questions?
Thank you so much, Ms. Hales. I did have a couple questions which you may or may not be able to answer at this time, but as far as the 2, 3, and 4 grant applications, if they are, let's say, withheld, what possible costs could that bring upon the school division based on those funding levels?
Well, I will say that those applications are not in the president's budget. And so what that means, those positions that are funded through those applications are subject to elimination if the division cannot cover those positions. There's a clause in every one of our grant-funded positions contracts that states that these positions are subject to elimination. That includes mine.
Yeah, right, and I guess my question, I guess more so to Mr. Falk, I know every year we've been having to pull positions from Title I to put them into the general fund, because we've been making out we're doing that already. But have we been looking at what that possible impact would be like if we had to pull?
Yes, we've looked at it from the standpoint of when we heard that some of these grants might go away. And so we were looking to see what the impact would be and what we would have to do for that. In some cases, we could absorb, but I couldn't say we could absorb 100%, because some of these positions would be still required. But we would have to look at each one and see if it was something that we could absorb. But I think we would have some room to absorb some, but not all.
Right. And I think this is a prime example for those watching, even for city council that are watching. That's the reason why you try to budget yourself with a contingency each year when doing this, because of things like that happens. And we know that all those positions that we do have funding in our Title I, well, Title II, 3, and 4 grant applications are needed in the school division, and we just can't do away with them. So that may be another cost we would have to absorb, just for board members to be aware of that in the coming months, depending on what the final budget that comes out of the Senate looks like and on the president's desk. So, and the other thing I had was, well, you answered already. So any other questions from board members?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Ms. Hales. Question on Title I, Part A, for the services provided to students that's in Title I areas going to private schools. So not to confuse it with like school choice vouchers, or that anyone in a Title I school can go to a private school and we pay for tuition. So what would be an example of the services that we would provide?
Okay, that's a very good question. So we've been in collaboration with our third-party vendor, which is Catapult, who originally was providing services, and most of those students want tutoring services and the instructional materials that support the tutoring services.
Gotcha. And that's Catapult Learning, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Hales.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? I just want to say thank you again, Ms. Hales, for you and your department. You've grown a little bit, but I'm sure you still need additional support where you can find it within the department, but you've done a great job. with the grant applications, also with the preschool initiative that you all have been rolling out and strengthening our foundational learning for the school division. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. I will now entertain a motion at this time to approve the Title 1, 2, 3, and 4 grant applications as presented.
Move for approval. Second.
Motion made by Ms. Shoemake, second by Vice Chair Atkinson. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Atkinson?
Yes.
But before we do that, did you want to introduce your staff before you? So everyone can know who they are.
All right, I have with me my pre-K coordinator, Dr. Pat Williams. This year, we have a behavior support coach, new to pre-K, Mrs. Rita Hill Charity. Our Title I specialist, Ms. Fredesia Hawkins. Our lovely family and community engagement, who does all of our division level events, Ms. Maritha Stills. Another program specialist for pre-K, Ms. Natalie Brooks. New to pre-K, our pre-K counselor, Ms. Kalila Ali. Another one of our pre-K program specialists, Ms. Sharon Bullock. And Ms. Diane Deloach, pre-K program specialist. And then holding up the rear, she keeps us all together. Kiana Taylor, she keeps us all together. She's our executive associate.
Thank you all so much for all that you do.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. No worries. Ms. Atkinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Boone?
Yes.
Dr. Cotton?
Yes.
Ms. Futrell?
Yes.
Ms. McSwain?
Yes.
Mrs. Sessoms?
Yes.
Ms. Shoemake?
Yes.
Dr. Walker?
Yes.
Dr. Patillo?
Yes.
The vote is unanimous.
Thank you so much. Agenda item 4.2 is our K-12 mathematics textbook adoption. Dr. DeVries.
Sorry about that. Just making sure
Are you good?
I understood something. I would like to introduce my math team. Come up. This is my first time since I've been here that we're taking a textbook adoption proposal to you, but we've had some new standards, as you know, that were tested for the first time this year in math K through 12, and so our two coordinators have taken a committee through the textbook adoption process, and they're here to recommend a few textbooks to you tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad to see you all here. We are here. I'm India Hatcher. I'm the secondary coordinator of mathematics, and I'm here with my partner.
Dr. Wanda Calhoun. I'm here. I'm elementary mathematics.
And so we're going to look a little bit into our textbook adoption process that we did, and we're going to introduce the textbook adoption proposal to you all.
So this is our alignment to our strategic plan, the past and the proposed new strategic plan.
And this is our alignment to the PPS graduate profile, that we're all lifelong learners.
And then this is the timeline. So as of February of this year, elementary only had one textbook that had been approved, but then when they met in March, they did approve a whole slew of textbooks, none of which are fully aligned. So we had to just go through and pick what we thought would work best for our students. So this is kind of how the process went. Once they approved in March, we had committees. They started meeting in person and virtually and making recommendations. And then in May, they made their final recommendations. We got all of our books out to the libraries for public review. It got onto the PPS website, and there's a like digital review they can do there, and then also out for educator review.
And the process is very simple, and it's very similar to what the state uses when they do our textbook adoption to approve those textbooks. It's comprised of teachers, coaches, and program specialists. It was volunteer. We asked our teachers and our coaches and our specialists which programs would they like to be a part of. We followed the VDOE HQMI process of textbook evaluations. We set it out for public review, as Dr. Calhoun said. So Dr. Lalasco was able to post it on our website, and so anyone from the public was able to view the textbooks for 30 days. We posted them in the library so they could get a physical copy of the student editions. There were no teacher editions left at the libraries. And then we also had an opportunity for public comment for via Google Forms if anyone wanted to give us a public comment. The teachers were given the same access, except for this time we allowed them to use the teacher workbooks and the resources. They taught with them to find out which one would be best aligned and most aligned for our student use. And we also gave them the opportunity to give us some public comment.
As of today, we had one public comment, one teacher comment. Both were positive. We had no negative comments at this time.
I just want to say before they go on that we do have one more week out on public comment, so we'll ask for approval tonight pending that there's no comments that are going to drastically change the decision of the textbook committee.
So for elementary, we looked at 3 different textbooks. We looked at Savas, we looked at Eureka, and we looked at Kiddom. Kiddom was the one on the original approved list. Kiddom is a very non-traditional textbook, very much online resources. And when they printed and provided us print copies, it was these huge binders of like thick copies, completely not student friendly. So we then moved on and we had Eureka and we had Savas. Our recommendation is Savas because they were the more thorough layout. You see we have the strengths and weaknesses there. The only weakness that we had is some of the topics were kind of across the grade levels. By having the digital version, we're able to crisscross those. They have inside of theirs, you can set a playlist. And so like even if it happens to be, they can dip down or up in the grade level if needed to provide students what they need. So all of the content is there. It just may not be in the exact place that it needs to be. Oh, I went the wrong way. Sorry.
For secondary, we had 3 options as well. We had Savas, Math Space, and HMH. We looked at Savas as we taught with it. We did a pilot program with Math Space in our 7th grade middle school. We had some strengths that we talked about. They were aligned to the VDOE standards. With the VDOE state process, they went through standard by standard, bullet by bullet, and they gave us whether it was adequate, limited, or had no evidence. So we followed those same processes and took the recommendation of the VDOE. We had a couple of weaknesses, and there's weaknesses in everything, but there were more weaknesses in the math space, digital, and so our recommendation was to go with Savas as well. Our elective courses in mathematics in high school, you have the AFTA, which is algebra functions and data analysis, math analysis and trigonometry. Math space this time had the highest strength, so we looked at Pearson and Cengage were our 2 competitors that we had, but this time math space outwon it. They had adaptive tasks, they have the AI tutor along with it. It had built-in Spanish translation, and so, but the math elective courses, this was our best choice. And so we have quotes, and the quotes are available if you needed to look at them.
All right. Thank you so much.
Any
Thank you.
questions?
Do we have any questions from board members?
Oh, there's another one. Oh, thank you.
All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the math textbook adoption pending any further public comment.
Move for approval. Second.
Motion made by Ms. Boone, second by Ms. Shoemate. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Atkinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Boone?
Yes.
Dr. Cotton?
Yes.
Ms. Futrell?
Yes.
Ms. McSwain?
Yes.
Mrs. Sessoms?
Yes.
Ms. Shoemake?
Yes.
Dr. Walker?
Yes.
Dr. Patillo?
Yes,
The vote is unanimous.
thank you so much. Just want to say thank you again, ladies, for all that you do.
Thank you for all that you all do for our kids. I see you out there, so I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ms. Hatcher, how much did they pay you to say that? Thank you.
That's excellent.
All right. Agenda item 4.3 is the PPS strategic plan. It looks like Dr. Nolasco and Dr. DeVries. All right.
All right, good evening, School Board Chair Patillo, Vice Chair Atkinson, school board members, and Dr. Bracy. Dr. Nolasco and I are so very excited to have the opportunity to present Portsmouth Public Schools' proposed new strategic plan, which we are calling Igniting Futures 2025 to 2030. When Dr. Nolasco and I began to develop this plan and the timeline for the work, we knew that a couple of things. Oh, actually, you know what? I skipped a slide. Okay, let me go back. Hold up. As you know, our current strategic plan, which is Expedition 2025, has been in place for the past 5 years, and it's expected to sunset on June 30th of this year. This plan has guided the school division's priorities and initiatives through the articulation of the 5 goals that you see on the slide. With the conclusion of Expedition 2025, we have had the opportunity to work with our school and Portsmouth community to evaluate those priorities and make a plan for the future of PPS, to include our students, our staff, and our facilities. Now I could say that when Dr. Nolasco and I began to develop a plan and a timeline for this work, we knew that we didn't want it to be, want the lift for anyone engaged in this work to carry on for a long, extended period of time. And likewise, we understood that the human capital that we have collectively for help with developing this plan was limited. But most importantly, we understood the significance of getting the new strategic plan right, as it is the guiding beacon, the guiding light for our work in PPS for the next 5 years. So what you see as a result of all those considerations is a timeline on this slide that spans nearly 6 months of work that engages a variety of stakeholders. We used a unique and innovative approach to the development of the strategic plan by utilizing generative AI tools, specifically ChatGPT. I think ChatGPT is a friend of all of ours at this point. We began the process by meeting with several stakeholder groups such as PPS parents and staff, administrators, community members, and students to ask them questions related to what we are getting right in PPS, what they'd like to see, where they'd like to see the division to head in the future, and what our priorities should be moving forward. As Lauren and I sifted through the feedback from each group, we uploaded the responses into ChatGPT and asked it to pull out trends or themes across the responses, and you'll see we kind of put a snippet there of the outputs. We had a significant amount of text to go through to try to find those themes. This slide right here just illustrates some of the outputs from ChatGPT. ChatGPT is your friend and foe if you don't use it wisely. So we had to really be very discriminative when we looked at what it was popping out for us in terms of the information to make sure that it aligned with our thinking. So there were several revisions. We several times asked it to refine wording, to clarify things that seemed unclear, to eliminate redundancies. And so you see the trends. These are just 3 of the documents that started to emerge through the work that we were doing with our dear friend ChatGPT. By the end of the process, we had 4 clearly articulated goals that represented all facets of our school division. Let's take a look at Goal 1. Goal 1 focuses on teaching and learning with a goal to increase academic growth and achievement. Feedback that we heard across stakeholder groups was that we should call out our focus on growth as something we value equally to the value we place on academic achievement. To accomplish this, we will work to ensure high-quality instruction in every classroom, focusing on not just the academics, but also growing our students to be effective collaborators and critical thinkers. Goal 2 focuses on students with a specific focus on ensuring opportunities for pathways, innovation, and preparedness for the 3 E's, which, as you know, is employment, enlistment, and enrollment in higher ed. Of course, we know that we can't do this alone, so you will also see an important primary action step around strengthening partnerships with colleges, businesses, and community organizations so that students can apply the skills that they are learning in authentic contexts. And I will turn it over to Lauren to go over the next 2 goals.
Thank you. Well, Goal 3 is improve staff recruitment, retention, and professional development. This is really a direct continuation of Goal 3 in Expedition 2025. Work in this goal is centered on staff members and creating the best working environment possible for them. This includes a focus on a number of areas, including competitive salaries and benefits, professional development opportunities, and on-the-job supports. Of course, there will be increased work to extend recruitment and ensure we're bringing the best talents here to Portsmouth Public Schools. Goal 4 is foster a safe and connected educational environment that supports students, staff, and families' needs. And this is perhaps the most robust and comprehensive goal of all because it involves every staff member in every office and every department and every school in our division. It also includes our students and families and community members because after all, everyone plays a role in creating an environment and safe place for children to learn and thrive. In this goal, you'll see primary action items addressing the physical maintenance of buildings, the materials and resources that we provide students, and services that we can help organize for families, and much more. So again, these were the draft goals that we got. So that didn't mean that the process ended there. We wanted to ensure that our staff and our parents could weigh in on what was developed here, tell us what they supported and what they thought might need a little extra work. So through parent square messages as well as some website reminders, we invited them to review the goals and give us their feedback, which they did. We had about 100 people, as you can see, who took the time to do just that, which we really do appreciate that time. We asked what they felt were the strongest parts of the plan, which parts were unclear, and which goals or primary action items did not reflect what they felt they shared with us throughout the survey process. And this feedback, I have to say, was mostly positive and very helpful. We were specifically pleased to see that 82% of our respondents said they felt the plan, even in this draft form, would lead to successful outcomes to students, staff, and families. We made some alterations and we made some additions to our primary action items, taking in this feedback to account. And one of the key pieces of feedback that we received was how some of the language was not clear, which as a communications person, you know that would bother me. Too much education lingo, maybe not enough direct talk. So we heard that, and in launching this plan, we wanted to make sure that everyone, from our youngest learners to our most veteran staff, could understand what we want to accomplish in these next 5 years. So we asked for some help in making that happen, and we have this to share with you.
We're excited to unveil our new strategic plan, Igniting Futures 2025 through 2030. This plan will help guide the work of our schools and our division for the next 5 years. For something this important, I brought in some friends to help explain what this plan has in store.
Goal 1 is to increase academic growth and achievement for all students. What does that mean?
That's a great question. It means that we're going to help all kids learn by teaching in the best way and giving extra help when needed. Plus, we want to make sure students just like you practice important skills like being creative, solving problems, and working with others. Then, we'll check to see how everyone's doing so that we can keep improving and help every child succeed.
I like that.
Goal 2 is to expand access to innovative, high-quality learning experiences that prepare students for future success. I know all about this. I'm in dual enrollment through Tidewater Community College, and lots of my friends are in career and technical education classes.
This is only for big kids?
Not at all. We want to make sure all kids learn what they need so they can have great jobs and bright futures. So we're adding in fun, real-life, hands-on learning, starting in preschool and elementary school, like science projects, computer skills, and even chances to visit or work with helpers from jobs and colleges. Then we keep working to make sure all students have what they need for life after graduation.
Yes!
Goal 3 is to improve staff recruitment, retention, and professional development.
That means helping my teacher learn and grow too, right?
Exactly. We want to take good care of our teachers and all the people who work in our schools, like our bus drivers, our custodians, and cafeteria workers. We want them to feel happy, healthy, to learn new things, to help them do their best work, and to make sure that they have opportunities here to have a long and fulfilling career. Don't you think they deserve that?
They sure do.
Goal 4 is to foster a safe and connected educational environment that supports students, staff, and family needs.
Even our families are in this plan?
Absolutely. We want students to feel safe and cared for at school. So we work with families in our community to make sure children have everything they need, like good food, places to live, and people to talk to. We work our hardest to make school a kind, fun, and welcoming place for everyone. We mean it when we say everyone. This plan reflects months of input and feedback from our students, staff, families, and community. You can visit us online and see all of the action items we'll be tackling these next 5 years. We thank you for your time and consideration in helping develop Igniting Futures 2025 through 2030. Together we shine bright, and we cannot wait to ignite a new path forward.
Now that's like
Thank you to all of our talent in the room who participated. In front of you, you have the printed copy of our finalized strategic plan for your review and consideration. You can see there were some changes from our draft goals. As an example, the first primary action item that we shared under Goal 1 used to say, focus on high-quality Tier 1 instruction. Well, to our survey respondents' point, what does that mean to students and parents? So now it's been changed to say, focus on consistent, high-quality learning experiences for all students in all classrooms, to get a little clearer to the point. Dr. DeVries, I think, mentioned this earlier, but we're also changing how we're monitoring and enacting this plan. We're going to do this through yearly ignition plans, where specific primary action items will be selected for the upcoming school year, and staff will strategize how to actualize that work with quarterly report outs. This will allow us to measure progress each year and see what's working and see what's not. It could lead us to move on to different primary action items in the following year, or maybe we need to make and retool our approach and develop secondary action items based on what we've seen. And either way, this will allow us to report to you more comprehensively each year the work that we've accomplished in accordance with this plan. And at that point, we're happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Dr. DeVries and Dr. Nolasco. My first comment, our videos are always top tier. I just gotta give kudos on that. My question is on Goal 2. And under Goal 2, it has strengthen partnerships with colleges, businesses, and community organizations. My question is surrounding community organizations. When we're out in the community, I mean, in these meetings, the community organizations are always saying, we can't get into schools, it's hard. Luckily, Dr. Walker was at some of these meetings with me, and I wasn't the only one getting attacked, so she knows how it feels to get attacked by 20 organizations. So how are we streamlining, how are we communicating that out so the community organizations don't feel left out and they feel welcome in the schools?
Well, I know we have streamlined our process for outside partnerships with schools, because one of the things that we want to make sure is that if we're taking time in our school day, that it's used to an instructional component. So that's really been launched through Dr. White's office and through school leadership, so that we make sure that folks who are coming in to either do assemblies or work or even any sort of partnership with the schools has been vetted, and that there is an alignment with what we're doing from the standards-based process. I will say, this is going to be part of our, you'll see this in the year-end report, we've actually expanded the number of partners and partnerships that we've had, since that was a goal under Expedition 2025. And I don't have the direct numbers with me, but that we wanted to see a 25% growth in the number of partners that we had and partnerships. We've seen it's close to 70% growth in partners, and then 125% in our number of partnerships, meaning the amount of schools that are partnering with those same partners. So I do think we are getting that word out and looking to continue growing that, but I think specifically we want to make sure that they're aligned with the programming that is coming from out of Dr. DeVries' office.
Right. So is that on our website? Could we direct the community organization to say,
There is, yep, there is a community section of our website, and I'll have to double check to see if where the application link is. I think there's an application through Dr. White's office, but we can make sure that's up there. But certainly how they can get involved in going through the Ask Super email as well.
Okay, and to follow up, if that community organization offers a program that is curriculum-based, they could have their program during school hours, correct? If it is curriculum-based.
If it's aligned to what is taking place within that particular week or day of the lesson plan.
Okay.
Otherwise, if anybody wants to come in, we provide it after school for them. If they want to reach a certain group of students, sending out the permission forms, and then we will have the kids stay over.
Right, gotcha. And I'm sorry I'm picking on you, Dr. Walker, because I know your particular program was curriculum-based. So I just wanted to make sure if it is like a curriculum-based program and it's aligned, like you said, Dr. Bracy, there's a possible partnership. Other than that, after school.
Yeah, and I'll add one more thing to that too, because when you get an influx of so many organizations that want to come in and show the alignment, you can't invite them all in, right? Because that'll consume the whole day or the whole week or the whole year. Right. So we try to look at who they are, how they can align. If we're looking at something on a continual basis or something like that, you may have to look at maybe 1 to 2 partners that you work with throughout the year, because they'll be more than likely when those companies come in, those organizations come in, they usually establish year-long commitments. So if we're working with one or two, it may be hard for others to come in because that's only going to take out more instructional day.
Right.
So is that noted in kind of like the application process that Ms. Atkinson was referring to? Because I think that's a lot of times where people get confused, like they want to be a part of it, but then they say they never hear back, or it's hard for them to get into a school, but then the goal alignment says that we want to strengthen our partnerships. And I hear the numbers going up, but we hear a lot of people that say it's so hard, and then when they get here, it's like the lack of communication and those pieces that they don't know how far to go. So if it is the application process, will they be accepted or denied? I kind of think those are the questions that people are asked.
And it comes in so many different ways. Sometimes they go directly to the schools, or they email the principals, and from there, that's when, I guess that's how that's determined. It's not, I don't believe it's on the application that will say that only X amount will be accepted. Really, the principal, now I would expect everyone to at least be acknowledged, whether or not we can or we can't accept it, and have a conversation with the principal. But as far as applying, anyone can reach out, but they have to look at it carefully to determine if they can work with them.
So can that kind of be streamlined so everybody's kind of following? Because like sometimes they do contact principals and principals says it's okay. Sometimes they do contact, community officials. So it's like different messages, I think.
And can Dr. White speak to that as well? Because I don't think principals are supposed to be saying yes, I don't think.
Right, what we're working on, and we actually pulled away from going to the principals because what was happening, we were finding that there are many organizations in our schools, and we had no idea that we were there. So we did pull this back, and everything actually will go through Dr. Flowers in her department, and we will make sure that this information is uploaded, it is posted, so everyone is talking to the same music. We just want to make sure, because we had some groups out there and it was not aligned. And one of the things that Dr. Bracy shared in regards to the academic alignment, what makes it really difficult to have a group come in is we already have our structured curriculum that we must follow. And some of our principals, what they tried to do was ensure that, okay, we're going to bring them in, and then we'll have them come in and during our PE time, during our music time. And that's one thing that we don't want to do. So when we have like small group instruction times, and if a teacher is working in small groups, like the 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, 20 minutes here, what they do is sometimes they can be integrated within that. But like other than that, it gets to be real difficult for like a group to come in and say, okay, we got an aligned program that's going to work, that's going to work best for Portsmouth. So that's the tough thing, but we're growing with it, and what we're trying to, and I think you'll see us evolving over the summer and even more during the fall and then in the spring, just to keep getting better, because this is a process that we're trying to undertake like now, but we're going to streamline it. So if they have questions, you can say, hey, reach out to Dr. Flowers and she'll get you through, because our goal is we want as many helpful partners as we can get, because we know that's going to be beneficial to the growth of Portsmouth.
And just to piggyback on Dr. White, so it's no longer like a principal discretion with community organizations. We're trying to get them to go directly to Flowers.
Pretty much like Dr. Bracy, not necessarily. The principal needs to let us know what it is, because we want to make sure we have our hands wrapped around it. So if the principal's all for it, that's when we have the conversation. So we're not saying, no, principal's got to give all that power away. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is when they do present something, please let us know so we can make sure it's not overlapping with something else that we may potentially have, because every school is probably going to do something different, and we want to make sure they keep their individuality. Douglas Park may want to focus on the big homies, right? And then Cherson may want to focus on something else. So we're not going to say, okay, this one group is going to be for the division, not at all. So principals still have a say in what they're saying, but what we're asking is we have a shared say, so we at least know what's going on, because one of the things that you'll see, we have a document now that talks about all of our partners, and that's what Dr. Nolasco was talking about, just all the partners that we have. So they still have that say. And I want to say the final say, but it's a shared final say.
Gotcha. And one last, I guess, comment or question. If I'm a new community organization that wants to partner with the schools, where do I go?
Right. At this point, it's going to be, I can tell you right now, it's Dr. Flowers. But it will be, I guess, easily accessible through the website, but that's going to have to, the master over there, she can make all that
That's
happen.
what I was wondering. Could we just be like, hey, go
Yes.
here, go to the website?
Yes. But for right now, that's what I want to share with you all. Dr. Flowers is like the go-to.
Gotcha. Thank you, Dr. Ware.
And I just want to say, because they dance around it a lot, but they prefer them to do it after school.
Gotcha.
Because they want to focus on instruction during the day, because we're all looking at growth, we're all looking at achievement, and you, as teachers and as instructional leaders, and they'll tell you, they'd rather have them after school so they can focus on the curriculum that's approved for the day. And I've had them reaching out to me, and they stopped reaching out to me because my answer is the same. Because when we look at scores during the retreat, we're not going to say, oh, this organization had them for 2 hours a week, taking away instructional time, or that way had them for an hour, taking away math instruction. No, we're going to blame Dr. Bracy and instructional teams, and y'all not doing y'all jobs.
Right. Exactly.
So I think it needs to be detailed and highlighted that the preference for community partners, because we want them to come, but we prefer after school so we can focus on instruction during the instructional time outside on the day. And we have hours we have to meet that are instructional hours that are required by the state. So I think that needs to be probably highlighted on whatever you all put out when it concerns community partners. We want them all, to help our students be a part of our school family, but we want to make sure we keep instruction time based on that as our primary, I think, operation during the school day. I think is what
I like the after school, highlighting the after school.
I did have a question about the plan. It looks great. I love the video. Will there be like a list of resources that's needed to make sure that we can fulfill these goals? So that's something that the board can look at during future budget cycles to say, hey, these are resources needed to make this happen. Because it looks great, but we want to make sure we fulfill these goals and what's needed from us to make that happen for you all. I think it would be great for all of us to see during some period.
Yeah, and that could be detailed on the Ignite plans for each of the goals, because there will be specific action steps for each of the goals in those Ignite plans, and then what we need to accomplish those goals, whether that be human resources or materials or programs or whatever.
Do we have any other questions for board members in reference to the strategic plan?
I have a question. Thank you, Chair. So I just wanted to know, when it comes to Goal 3, if you could just provide maybe an example or two when it comes to the mental health and wellness programs for the staff, aside from EAP, like what does that look like?
Your retreat, right? An example.
Oh, the stuff I did at my staff meeting?
That's what I meant.
Yeah. So, so of course we will focus on, and I know Dr. White and his group are doing things with staff and students and families, bringing in supports from CHKD, VMS to help with both mental health and physical health. But even just small things like, this sounds silly, but we did a staff wellness day, and my staff, because we knew that there was a lot of tension coming up on those SOLs, and we wanted everybody to have clear minds and hearts, and so we did breakouts around wellness, and Miss Lewis did some journaling activities with the groups, and we had some yoga activities, and we had just things that focus, allow the staff to know that we also care about their well-being as well. So those are things that we'll put out there as part of, what the schools are doing as well. We'll capture some of that, but then we also have some initiatives that are division-wide, like I just mentioned, or the Care Solace and things like that.
Right, and here to help, obviously, continue to expand that. But that was so well received that that's actually going to be part of the upcoming Leadership Institute for all administrators, as well as the Back to School Pep Rally. There will be a corporation that Human Resources is working on. So really being mindful about the comprehensive wellness of our staff members.
Nice. Doesn't sound silly at all. It sounds lovely.
Yeah.
It was.
Thank you.
We thought it was lovely.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. And a piggyback off of Board Members Futrell question about wellness. Have we considered also any partnerships? I know we have several wellness centers in Portsmouth that our staff, we can partner, possibly get discounts, or also have we considered a wellness day fully?
Not fully, but.
So we're going to have the wellness fair.
Okay.
One of the things that my associate has been doing is working with partners outside, inviting them to the wellness fair so that they can have a booth set up to where employees can actually go to the different stations to pull information for their personal use.
Okay, awesome.
And so that will be available for our back to school pep rally. Was coming up this year, and so that'll be available as staff arrive, and we have a little bit of time while we're waiting for all schools, as well as the dismissal time, and we have a little time when we're trying to get student staff back. So while we have that captive audience, it's going to be a great time to be able to access those resources.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that reminded me of something we spoke about the Wellness Day. When it comes to the professional development, I mentioned it last year before we started this calendar planning. About the professional development days or the lack thereof that we have. Not sure how we do this going forward, but how do we increase those? You hear staff saying like, well, they're putting all these new initiatives on us, but we only have 3-4 half days, of professional development. And for me, I know the Wellness Day is important. I know it is, and that's almost a whole day, but are we going to take the same amount of, time to configure more professional development days and for staff? We have a lot of new staff that's worked less than 5 years in the profession. But we're doing we're switching our model back to them that, they'll be teaching, the individualized core subject areas. How are we planning professional development days within our calendar in the future to make sure they have enough? To do that. I mean, I'm not sure if that means we have to look at how early we come back as far as for development of staff or those things, but if y'all can help me with that.
So glad you asked that question. So I'll be perfectly honest, it's a struggle for us in curriculum and instruction, knowing that we have so many changes, especially in our state, what the state expects. And then, we offer, I think this summer we're offering up at least 50 sessions that are across, all the grade levels that are available, focusing on varying topics. But those are not very well attended, and I can't blame the teachers for not wanting to take some of their summertime to do that. I mean, some teachers are all gung ho, and most just need that break. Same thing with after school sessions. We continue to offer those after school, and some are well attended, but most are, of course, teachers hesitate to commit beyond the school day because they know they have other things to do once they get home, so including work. So yes, embedding professional development days, I have to be honest, a half day of professional development really boils down to about 2 hours. Once the kids get out, the teachers get settled, get to where they need to be for the professional development. So when you take all of that into consideration, it's 2 hours. And if we have 2 hours, and if you're an elementary teacher, that's a K through 3 teacher, you're talking about 2 hours, and we've got to now choose what are the most important subject areas to provide the professional development on, because we just don't have enough time. So we would love built-in professional learning days, full ones or more half ones or whatever we could do. But I know Dr. Bracey has said, several times, especially when he's collected feedback from stakeholders about the calendar. We can add whatever you want, but then it's just a matter of what do you take away, because if our commitment is to ending earlier, something's got to give within the course, unless we are open to extending the school year beyond.
Well, and I'm glad you said that, and I'm glad the board members heard you say it, because a lot of times we make hasty decisions based upon what we hear from people we know within the school division, teachers and that sort of thing. I just want to make sure that from here on out that we really take into consideration that when they're putting out new math standards or new science standards, that we're saying, okay, here, go teach this, with a half day of professional development. And we're wondering why what we're getting back is not as strong as we would like it. You know, I mean, that's just like, to me, that's a simple concept. You know, if you're getting something new, you need time to learn it, and then you can teach it effectively. So I think we need to be focused as a board on really targeting on what's important within that calendar in those days. Not just days off, so they can have days off, but also so they can be developed professionally, so our students get a higher impact and greater impact. So just so we can keep that in mind with our future calendar planning, and I want to make sure that we heard it directly from them before we do that. So, all right, was there anything else in reference to the strategic plan? All right, I will entertain a motion at this time to adopt the new 25 to 20 to 30 strategic plan.
Move for approval.
Second.
Oh, sorry.
Straight to me.
Subject to comment period. Subject to the open comment period.
Oh, are we? I'm not.
Is this one still subject?
already had an open comment
I'm sorry.
period for this.
Excuse- I thought I was thinking
That
of
was
the
the
map.
textbook adoption.
That keeps me on track, sir. Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. And there was a motion made by Ms. Boone, and a second by Ms. Futrell, I believe. All right. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Atkinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Boone?
Yes.
Dr. Cotton?
Yes.
Ms. Futrell?
Yes.
Ms. McSwain?
Yes.
Mrs. Sessoms? Ms. Shoemake? Dr. Walker?
Yes.
Dr. Patillo?
Yes.
The vote is unanimous.
Thank you so much. I will now move back up to agenda item 3.1. Yes. Well, let's do agenda item 5.1 through 5.3 first, which are consent agenda items. I entertain a motion at this time.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Shoemake, second by Ms. Futrell. Is there any discussion?
Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
the only reason I would say hold off is because the transaction report is included in this, and we haven't been in closed
We're gonna
session.
talk about that in closed.
And it's some
Oh,
updates
okay.
to the transaction report.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, we'll go to agenda item 3.1 in closed session. I have some movement in closed meeting.
Want them to recall their motion and second. Or no?
Did we get a second already?
Yeah.
Oh, so you want to rescind it?
I rescind.
Motion. All right. Motion has been rescinded. Vice Chair.
I move that the board enter into a closed meeting under the provisions of section 2.2-3711 of the Code of Virginia for the following purpose: consideration of personnel matters, including the assignment, performance, and resignation of specific school employees as permitted under subsection A.1.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Shoemake. Any discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Atkinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Boone?
Yes.
Dr. Cotton?
Yes.
Ms. Futrell?
Yes.
Ms. McSwain?
Yes.
Mrs. Sessoms?
Yes.
Ms. Shoemake? Dr. Walker?
Yes.
Dr. Patillo?
Yes.
The vote is unanimous.
We're doing transaction report first.
No, I think it's a look at it.
The rules of closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered during the preceding closed meeting.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Thanks so much. Motion made by the Vice Chair, second by Ms. Boone. Any discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Miss Atkinson.
Yes.
Miss Boone.
Yes.
Dr. Cotton.
Yes.
Miss Futrell.
Yes.
Miss McSwain.
Yes.
Mrs. Sessoms.
Yes.
Miss Shoemake.
Yes.
Dr. Walker.
Yes.
Dr. Patillo.
Yes.
The vote's unanimous.
Thank you so much. We do have consent agenda items at this time. I'll ask the Vice Chair to make a motion.
All right, I move that we pull from item 5.1, hearing 042125 from the transaction report and move it to agenda item 5.4.
We do have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Futrell to move that to agenda item 5.4. Any discussion?
Ms. Cheeks.
Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk. I'll take it at Ms. McSwain.
Yes.
Ms. Futrell.
Yes.
Ms. Walker.
Yes.
Ms. Sessoms.
Yes.
Yes.
Dr. Cotton. Ms. Boone.
Yes.
Shoemake. Chair.
Yes.
I'm a yes as well, so unanimous. All right. I now entertain a motion for consent agenda items 5.1 to 5.3.
Okay, got it,
For
got it.
approval.
Second now.
Motion made by Ms. Boone, second by Ms. Futrell. Is there any discussion?
That was just a motion.
Seeing none, roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Miss Atkinson.
Yes.
Miss Boone.
Yes.
Dr. Cotton.
Yes.
Mrs. Futrell.
Yes.
Miss Futrell. Miss McSwain.
Yes.
Mrs. Sessoms.
Yes.
Miss Shoemake.
Yes.
Dr. Walker.
Yes.
Dr. Patillo.
Yes.
That was the vote for the item.
That was
All right, thank you so much.
Okay.
Agenda item 5.4, entertain a motion at this time. The Vice Chair.
Agenda item 5.4 regarding hearing number 042125, moving to reject the hearing officer's recommendation and reinstate.
We do have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Futrell. Any discussion? Roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Miss Atkinson.
Yes.
Mrs. Boone.
Yes.
Dr. Cotton.
Yes.
Miss Futrell.
Yes.
Miss McSwain.
Yes.
Mrs. Sessoms.
Yes.
Miss Shoemake.
Yes.
Dr. Walker.
Yes.
Dr. Patillo.
No.
All right. 8 yeses, 1 no.
All right, thank you so much. Agenda item 6.1, roll call vote, consideration of the final board operating budget for fiscal year 25-26. I entertain a motion at this time.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Shoemake, second by Ms. Futrell. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, Madam
I'm
Clerk.
sorry, Chair, I do have a discussion.
Okay.
I just want to notate that my no vote is not against the teacher salaries or against any retention paid towards teachers. My no vote is regarding program cuts that I feel like our students is necessary. It's what set Portsmouth apart from other divisions. When people talk about star-based in other school divisions, because I'm in other school divisions a lot, star-based is what set Portsmouth aside. So I'm definitely fully in support of star-based. Dual language immersion, I mean, it's kids in Northern Virginia that's taking that. So that dual language immersion program would have set us apart again from another school division. Just like our first college program as well. So my no vote is because I'm not for cutting those two particular programs, and just wanted to put that out there to the public. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also have my no vote is also in reference to the cutting of programs, specifically DLI.
Right. Any others?
My yes vote is because I'm focused on what's instruction, basically instructional base. This was a hard decision that we had to make. However, we'll see what the future holds. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Swain.
Same as Dr. Cotton, my yes vote is only based on the fact that this is something that we had to do. We just had to find the resources
to make sure that we take care of our staff, and I think that was one of the utmost important things for us to decide along with our children. I did not want to get rid of dual language immersion. However, I'm sure that's something that we can definitely revisit. Thank you.
It's under discussion.
Oh, no.
Thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
It was under this, right? Okay. All right, so, Ms. Atkinson.
Absolutely no.
Mrs. Boone.
Yes.
Dr. Cotton.
Yes.
Ms. Futrell.
Yes.
Ms. McSwain.
Yes.
Ms. Sessoms.
Yes.
Ms. Shoemate.
Yes.
Dr. Walker.
No.
Dr. Patillo.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses and 2 noes.
7 yes.
7 yes.
7 yeses, excuse me. 2 noes.
All right, thank you. Agenda item.
Thank you, Chair. How will the parents and staff be notified of the program cancellations, and how will we communicate that out to the parents that that program is going to be canceled, and how we're going to communicate that out to the staff?
Well, with the students that are currently in the program, communication will go out. Will go out to them. I mean, we can also, now that the budget is passed, there's documentation that we can sort of just push out throughout the whole division, because those that may have been interested in it will need to know that the program is no longer in place. So we will make sure that everybody is aware of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We need to go back to agenda item 4.4. We missed that consideration of the FY 24-25 revised general fund budget. I need to entertain a motion at this time.
Move for approval.
Motion made by Ms. Shoemate, second by Ms. Boone. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Atkinson.
Yes.
Mrs. Boone.
Yes.
Dr. Cotton.
Yes.
Ms. Futrell.
Yes.
Ms. McSwain.
Yes.
Mrs. Sessoms.
Yes.
Ms. Shoemate.
Yes.
Dr. Walker.
Yes.
Dr. Patillo.
Yes.
The vote is unanimous.
Thank you so much. Agenda item 6.2 of board member comments. Are there any? I do want, we say?
4.5.
Okay, we have board member comments, but I'll also accept any subcommittee reports at this time as well if we have any on the board comments.
Due to timing, the minority contractors, the MWB Advisory Committee report is in your executive comments, so I'm not going to go over the presentation because we've been here too long. So it is under the executive content.
All right. Any other board member comments? I do want to mention we did receive a request from the IC Norcom Alumni Association in reference to they are requesting to name the football field after Mr. Horace Savage, former educator and coach, longtime coach in Portsmouth. I believe it's going to have to be a discussion item in the near future, but please, I want y'all to ponder on that. They've been working with the principal, and the principal seems to be in line with it, but of course that would be a board decision in order to do that.
We do public. I would think that we have to take it to the public.
Naming, there's a naming policy, and
Right.
sorry, I don't have it memorized.
No, I think it's public.
Yeah,
It's a
and
committee.
it would have to be
There's a-
discussed too, because it would have to be a special,
Yeah, that's definitely a
it
policy.
would have to be a special exception, I believe, because
For a
he's
living.
Yeah. Right, so that's why I said we need to be a discussion item anyway, in order to make that happen. But I wanted to bring it to your attention because they sent the email directly to me, and they didn't copy everybody on it, so I did want to bring it up, and then we can discuss it in the next meeting.
So they wanted to change from Joe Langston?
No, they want the stadium is named after
Joe
Mr.
Langston.
Coach Langston. They want to
So
name the field
Okay.
after Mr. Horace Savage, which I have no problem with his years and dedication and everything he's given the city of Portsmouth. He's definitely a living legend, but that's something we have to discuss, and there will have to be a policy change temporarily in order to do that, being that he's a living individual. So I want you all to ponder on that. to our next meeting. All right, are there any other comments?
I
Ms.
have a
Shoemaker.
quick one. I just want to say congratulations to 2025.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
I think this is a wonderful situation. I think nationwide, this is the largest number of graduates that has been noted. And so one in particular I want to congratulate is my son, now Shubi. He will be graduating from Churchland High School on Saturday. So I'm super excited. Also my as you want to say, like adopted son, Khalid Young, he's graduating as well. So I just want to say congratulations to Norcom, congratulations to Manor, congratulations to Churchland graduates. You all did a wonderful job. I can't wait to see you on Saturday. And most of all, congratulations to the parents for getting them this far. So thank you so much, Chief.
Thank you so much. For all hearts and minds are clear, this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.